Hello, my name is Billy Fenning and I'm the senior leader here at All Nations, and here's my thought for the week. Over past weeks we have been going through the book of Ephesians, and I'm rather enjoying this wonderful book because over and over Paul is talking about our experience in Christ. I think over 90 times he uses the phrase "in Christ." And in Christ we are blessed, in Christ we are forgiven, in Christ we have received an inheritance, in Christ we are accepted. And another little phrase he uses over and over is heavenly places. We see in his prayer that God had raised Jesus up in heavenly places by the power of God. And in chapter 2, he speaks about you and I, how we sit with Christ in heavenly places. And here in Ephesians 3, he goes on to talk about the purpose of the church displaying something of the glory of God and the wisdom of God, the diversity of the church, and showing and displaying that to the principalities and powers and the angels were in heavenly places. Thank God for this wonderful theme about the church. You and I, ordinary people, touched by the grace of God. I'm sure you've heard of the phrase, well, he is so heavenly minded, he is no earthly use. Well, that's not true. Because I believe when you are heavenly minded, you will be of earthly use. And here in this section of Ephesians in Paul's letter, he starts to unravel something of the practical application of our wealth in Christ. And he goes on to describe something of our walk. And I pray that we as believers will walk worthy of our calling, understanding that God is, by his grace and by his Spirit, he is operating in our lives, that we understand that we sit with him in heavenly places. John Piper talks about the fact that God is the painter. And on the canvas of world history, on the canvas of history, history really is God's story, but on that canvas, God is painting a picture. And at the end, he will be glorified. The powers, the principalities, the angels, we will all sing, "Worthy is the Lamb to receive honor and power and glory." But on that canvas, God is painting a picture, and you and I are the brushes. Let me just say, in the midst of lockdown, and many of you may be feeling despair and discouraged because we seem to be going on week after week, month after month. Paul said, because the fact that we are the church displaying something of God's glory, Paul says, do not lose heart. And I say to you today, do not lose heart, because God is in control. He's the painter, we're the brushes. And he's using you and I to paint this wonderful picture. And the psalmist said, he makes all things beautiful in his time. And you may think that the hardship you're going through and the suffering you're going through, or maybe the pain, well, let me tell you, God can bring glory out of all things, because he will make all things beautiful in his time. Our life is in his hands. Our time is in his hands. So understand, thank God for the position of who we are in Christ. But understand too, as you journey on this road of faith, understand that God is the painter. He's painting on this canvas your story and my story, related to his story. God bless you.